Last month, Microsoft and Google promised that web search is going to change. Yes, Microsoft did it in a louder voice while jumping up and down and saying look at me, but both companies now seem committed to using AI to scrape the web, distill what it finds, and generate answers to users' questions directly, just like ChatGPT. This is V-Circle Future. Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, describes the changes as a new paradigm, a technological shift equal in impact to the introduction of graphical user interfaces or the smartphone. And with that shift comes the potential to redraw the landscape of modern tech, to dethrone Google and drive it from one of the most profitable territories in modern business. Even more, there's the chance to be the first to build what comes after the web. But each new era of tech comes with new problems, and this one is no different. In that spirit, here are 7 of the biggest challenges facing the future of AI search, from bullshit to culture wars and the end of ad revenue. It's not a definitive list, but it's certainly enough to get on with. This is the big overarching problem, the one that potentially pollutes every interaction with AI search engines, whether Bing, Bard, or an as-yet unknown upstart. The technology that underpins these systems, large language models, is known to generate bullshit. These models simply make stuff up, which is why some argue they're fundamentally inappropriate for the task at hand. These errors range from inventing biographical data and fabricating academic papers to failing to answer basic questions. There are also more contextual mistakes and errors of bias, like amplifying the misogyny and racism found in their training data. Is the introduction of AI into search like putting lead in water pipes, a slow, invisible poisoning? Bullshit and bias are challenges in their own right, but they're also exacerbated by the one true answer problem, the tendency for search engines to offer singular, apparently definitive answers. This has been an issue ever since Google started offering snippets more than a decade ago. These are the boxes that appear above search results and, in their time, have made all sorts of embarrassing and dangerous mistakes. As researchers Chirag Shah and Emily M. Bender argued in a paper on the topic, Situating Search, the introduction of chatbot interfaces has the potential to exacerbate this problem. Not only do chatbots tend to offer singular answers, but also their authority is enhanced by the mystique of AI, their answers collated from multiple sources, often without proper attribution. It's worth remembering how much of a change this is from lists of links, each encouraging you to click through and interrogate under your own steam. While the issues above are problems for all users, there's also a subset of people who are going to try to break chatbots to generate harmful content. This process is known as jailbreaking and can be done without traditional coding skills. All it requires is that most dangerous of tools, a way with words. You can jailbreak AI chatbots using a variety of methods. You can ask them to roleplay as an evil AI, for example, or pretend to be an engineer checking their safeguards by disengaging them temporarily. Once these safeguards are down, malicious users can use AI chatbots for all sorts of harmful tasks, like wire a bomb or write malware. And yes, once these jailbreaks are public, they can be patched, but there will always be unknown exploits. Here come the AI culture wars. This problem stems from those above, but deserves its own category because of the potential to stoke political ire and regulatory repercussions. The issue is that, once you have a tool that speaks ex cathedra on a range of sensitive topics, you're going to piss people off when it doesn't say what they want to hear, and they're going to blame the company that made it. We've already seen the start of what one might call the AI culture wars following the launch of ChatGPT. Right-wing publications and influencers have accused the chatbot of going woke because it refuses to respond to certain prompts or won't commit to saying a racial slur. Some complaints are just fodder for pundits, but others may have more serious consequences. There's also the issue of sourcing. Right now, AI Bing scrapes information from various outlets and cites them in footnotes. But what makes a site trustworthy? Will Microsoft try to balance political bias? Where will Google draw the line for a credible source? It's a problem we've seen before with Facebook's fact-checking program, which was criticized for giving conservative sites equal authority with more apolitical outlets. With politicians in the EU and US more combative than ever about the power of big tech, AI bias could become controversial fast. Burning cache and compute. This one is hard to put exact figures to, but everyone agrees that running an AI chatbot costs more than a traditional search engine. First, there's the cost of training the model, which likely amounts to tens, if not hundreds, of millions of dollars per iteration. This is why Microsoft has been pouring billions of dollars into OpenAI. Then, there's the cost of inference or producing each response. OpenAI charges developers 2 cents to generate roughly 750 words using its most powerful language model, and last December, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said the cost to use ChatGPT was probably single-digit cents per chat. How those figures convert to enterprise pricing or compare to regular search isn't clear. But these costs could weigh heavy on new players, especially if they manage to scale up to millions of searches a day and give big advantages to deep-pocketed incumbents like Microsoft. There's no doubt that the technology here is moving fast, but lawmakers will catch up. Their problem, if anything, will be knowing what to investigate first, as AI search engines and chatbots look to be potentially violating regulations left, right, and center. The broadest problem on this list, though, is not within the AI products themselves, but, rather, concerns the effect they could have on the wider web. In the simplest terms, AI search engines scrape answers from websites. If they don't push traffic back to these sites, they'll lose ad revenue. If they lose ad revenue, these sites wither and die. And if they die, there's no new information to feed the AI. Is that the end of the web? Do we all just pack up and go home? Well, probably not. But what happens next is anyone's guess. Maybe I'm wrong, and AI search engines will continue to push traffic to all those sites that produce recipes, gardening tips, DIY help, news stories, comparisons of outboard motors and indexes of knitting patterns, and all the countless other sources of helpful and trustworthy information that humans collect and machines scrape. Or maybe this is the end of the entire ad-funded revenue model for the web. Maybe something new will emerge after the chatbots have picked over the bones. Who knows, it might even be better. This is V-Circle Future. Thanks for your watching.